Well, howdy doody. Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. What is going on, guys? Brandon here. The algorithm hates truth. The algorithm hates truth. So please do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Do us all a favor and share this out. The only way we're going to win is to overwhelm the system. We talk about this a lot in the Bitcoiner world. Being a shining example, be the person that you want to be. Health, body, mind, spirit, body, spirit, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I can't think right now. And being the person you want to be. Because there's going to be a stark choice. The two roads diverge in the wood, as we've been saying. It's either Bitcoin and freedom or CBDC and slavery. The government is they're absolutely going to demean any person advocating for freedom, for prosperity, liberty, preparedness, sound money, anything. They are going to demean everyone. We can look at 250 years ago in the French Revolution, what was happening. The banker class, the political class is going to point every finger they can at everyone else that is crumbling their empire. Crumbling their empire means freedom and prosperity for you. It means freedom and prosperity for your spouse, freedom and prosperity for your children, their children, their children, their children, and on and on and on and on. That's it. If you have the banking class born in iniquity, in sin, as Mike Maloney says, which is what it is, creating bonds, creating this market, and this is not anti-capitalist. I am the biggest capitalist there is, biggest free market person there is. I'm talking about is the financial war games, the financialism of the system, the creditism, the crony capitalism, all the games being played, and that they have been creating up and around the banking system, creating banking in and of itself, which maybe served its purpose. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, maybe it served its purpose, right? But at the end of the day, it's not serving anyone right now. It's collapsing around everywhere you look. The sinful banking system where they take your money, don't tell you what's going on, take your currency, and then re-lend it out and then leave you high and dry. Is that a moral system? Can you call that a moral system? Does that sound like a system that's going to last forever? No, of course not. That's why we have bank runs. People come to find their cash. It's not there because they re-lent it out because they got to try to make money off of your money and gamble your currency, your hard-earned time and energy. It's all that wealth is your time and energy. And they gambled that all away. They said, screw you, your time and energy and your time away from family and kids, everything, and your passions and your hobbies. Well, that's not important, because what's important is lining my pockets, is the 90-day quarterly earning call where we have to enrich our own pockets and get our stock price up. That's what crony capitalism is. That's what creditism is. That's what this world is. It's financialism, creating bond, financial weapons of mass destruction, derivatives, all these things that are going on. This is all because of the banking class. And they, make no mistake about it, they are the ones that have caused all these booms and busts, these crazy wild booms and busts. We don't have that. You might have little gyrations in a gold as a monetary system, or as we have now, Bitcoin, obviously, because it's a closed loop at the end of the day. If you have a little bump up, it's got to offset with an equal bump back the other way. So if you have a little bit of inflation, you have a little bit of deflation as well, and it offsets itself. And you have little minor uh, recessions or minor little blips in the radar, but not like we have here, where it's just violently swinging and rapidly swinging, and the cycles get bigger and bigger, and the booms and busts get bigger and bigger and bigger. We don't have that in a sound deflationary monetary system. That's not what happens. We have a smoother path progression of life and honesty and equity, an equity-based system instead of a debt-based system like we have now. We have a system built on debt. Think about the sinfulness of that in itself. A system built on debt. We know that that's not a good way, because now you have people that are working at McDonald's, or you've got senior citizens, or you got people that can't work, you got disabled people, whatever it is, in some way, shape, or fashion. They now can't save to get ahead. They can't save any money to get ahead because it's debt-based, meaning they save more and more of these dollars, but they can't go work, they can't do anything. They save more and more of these dollars, and they get poor over time because dollar is debt. They're saving a liability they think is an asset, but the bankers, the political class, stole that equity out from the dollar by removing it from gold and silver and Bitcoin. So it's backed by nothing but their confidence. A confidence game. I appreciate coming to my mini TED Talk, but I think this is so incredibly important because you have to get prepared. You have to be the shining example on the hill, because as I said in the beginning, wrapping this up, there's two roads that diverge in the wood. And people are going to have to look and they're going to have to choose. Do I believe these bankers and the politicians and the mainstream media that have been constantly lying to me over and over and over again? Not for months, not for years, for decades. These people have been lying to me over and over and over again. Am I going to continue down the CBDC, central bank digital currency slave route and use that coin? Or am I going to choose Bitcoin and freedom? Am I going to choose a system that's had 99.999% uptime over its course of its life and 100% uptime over the last 11, 12 years? What's in 14 hours down total? 2 incidents, 8 hours and 6 hours each, that were little tiny things that were fixed very easily within hours. Am I going to do that and choose that system built on fairness and equity, or am I going to choose this system based on immorality and deceit and debt that is constantly failing? It's constantly defaulting. That's the hilarity in all this. It failed in 1964. We took the silver out of the coins. It's failed in 1971. We took the gold out of the money. It's failed over and over. In 87, savings and loans. In 97, the long-term capital management. Bailouts, Greenspan in 2000, 2001. Bailouts in 08. Bailouts in 2019, 2020. Bailouts now. It's constantly defaulting. Those are defaults. That's the system not working, and they're called soft defaults. Not hard default would be like, yeah, I can't pay my loans, and sorry, system's over. We keep soft defaulting. The system keeps soft defaulting, so you can stay in this old system that constantly is raping and pillaging you and your family of your time and energy, or you can have a system of freedom. Your choice. The Bitcoin life raft is moving away from the Titanic, and it's not going to be an easy transition to get your head around that, but it's a transition that has to happen. It has to happen. So I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk here, because this is vitally important to understand what's going on in this world. Otherwise, we are doomed to repeat the same things over and over again and lose all of our freedoms and liberties and have no security, right? What did we say the other day? Those that wish to trade their freedom and liberty for some security will have neither and deserve none. Period. End of the day. So I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. Please share this out. Please share this out, because this is the most important time we live in right now. We were born for these times. We were born for truth, for reality, for doing what's right, and reshaping the system in truth and equity. Equal playing field, not equal outcomes, an equal playing field, equal rules for all people to get ahead. And that's what scares the people at the top the most. They've been able to grift and graft this financialism, creditism, cronyism for so long that they are scared in a equal playing field that they won't be on top anymore. And I tell you what, they're not going to be. They ain't. You think Janet Yellen's going to be on top in a system where we all have the same advantage or the same rules we have to play by? Do you think Jerome Powell, Joe Biden, do you think any of these people are going to have the same type of success in this world going forward, where it's a rules-based, code-based world where we all the same rules we play by? Absolutely not. Now, you can take that to the bank if it exists still, but it won't. And because we're going to use Bitcoin, the digital bank that we have that literally is there for anyone, the underbanked, the unbanked, there for anyone, anytime, 24/7. Purpose built for this, discovered for this. So I appreciate you. Please send this out. Please, 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 please. We have to overwhelm the system with truth. So please send this out. I really appreciate you just being here every single day. Our time is the most important aspect we have. So time is energy, and energy is time. And we have to be cognizant of that. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. For if there is a God, surely he will appreciate that questioning over blindfolded fear, right? I'm paraphrasing Thomas Jefferson's quote. So I appreciate you being here in your time, because it is the most important thing we have. Bitcoin, gold, silver, energy, food, water, land, community, firearms, ammo. Build the community. Be resilient, be independent, because whether Bitcoin goes to 1 million in 90 days and there's complete collapse everywhere, or it goes to 1 million in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, we have to be the shining example on the hill so people want to say, am I going to choose Janet Yellen and Joe Biden and these goons in government and banking, or am I going to choose these people that look like amazing people and have built amazing lives over here? Which path are people going to choose? So I appreciate you. I appreciate your energy and being here, because it is investing in ourselves is the most important thing we can do in the future that we want. Now, let's jump into this quickly, the market updates of what is happening today. We'll run through this quick. The United States 10-year Treasury is at 3.6, so jumping up to 3.6. Boy, oh boy, the yield on the U.S. 10-year Treasury rose to 3.6, moving farther away from the 6-month low of 3.291 hit on Monday. Markets calmed down on the banking crisis fears. Been the east for now. Treasury Secretary, well, until today a little bit, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the government is ready to provide further guarantees of deposits if the banking crisis worsens. Thought we weren't doing this whole bailout shenanigans again, right, guys? I mean, my oh my, we just never learn our lessons, do we? Also, the collapse of Credit Suisse appears to have been avoided after the Swiss government engineered a forced takeover. Yeah, sounds really like the system's really doing well, guys. Let's keep questioning Bitcoin, though. Keep questioning Bitcoin because the system, the legacy systems, can constantly collapsing around us all over the place. Yet we just, oh, you know what? It's just too good to be true. Is there really a place that can save my money and preserve my purchasing power long term, and I can use it no matter what, not be censored, not be frozen? Yeah, there is. So let's pull our heads out of the sand and start understanding that system. The Forex 103.3 stayed somewhat stable. It took a little dip here last day or two, but it's somewhat stable, I guess we'll call it, at 103. And so now we have the Bitcoin price is up above 28,000. So those are the two big indicators. Actually, we should do crude oil. Crude oil bumped back up to 69, and we'll see here that the WTI crude futures are slightly higher at $69 per barrel on Tuesday, following a 1.3% gain in the previous session as investors slowly return to riskier assets as worries. I mean, just why chicken with their head cut off? Just constantly people just swinging in and out of things. I mean, it's just hilarious. We have to remain calm and resilient here. As investors slowly return to riskier assets as worries about the recent banking turmoil started to fade, investors also brace for the U.S. Federal Reserve's policy decision this week. So we'll see. Is it going to raise 25 basis points or what? Also, when is Trump getting arrested today? I got to figure that out, and I got to see where I can watch that at. So crude oil jumped a little bit. Now the three liquidity indicators to see what's going on with liquidity: gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So gold and silver obviously been popping the last week or two here, and Bitcoin obviously as well, getting huge bumps because people are scared, they are worried, and liquidity is being jammed back in the system, and the 10-year coming down way down to below 3.3 obviously. So liquidity being poured back into the system. So these risk off assets really is what they are. Gold and silver and Bitcoin now really starting a little bit of a decouple. Again, be prepared for the volatility of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the new monetary standard, but it's new, right? This is really, as we see here, only the 11th biggest asset in the world. So it's still nascent. It's still only $545 billion in market cap. We have a long way to go until people really understand what's going on. I mean, we're probably at 0.1% of 0.1 of 1% of really true people understanding Bitcoin, owning it, understanding what it is. So we have a long way to go here, but we know that guaranteed the dollar is going to collapse. The national debt is going to continue climbing. Absolutely. We know the dollar is being crushed by Bitcoin. So this is the game. Bitcoin continues going up in value because it becomes rarer and more valuable, where the dollar keeps losing value because it becomes more and more infinite and printed more and more and more. So we can see that inverse game being played, and when we understand that, we can put ourselves in the best place to succeed. So those are your global liquidity indicators. We'll see if Bitcoin's running. Again, we know the banking system isn't running. We know all the soft defaults, all the defaults we've gone through. I just talked about 64 and 71 and 90, 87 and 97 and 01, 08, 19, 20, and 2023. And it's going to continue. These things are going to continue. And Bitcoin, again, 100% uptime the last 11 years. Continues to work like clockwork every 10 minutes. 10 minutes, tick-tock, next block. You can trust Bitcoin because it's whack-a-mole. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of miners and nodes running the system for us. The robustness is something the centralized system, command and control economy can never, ever, ever in a billion trillion years duplicate or hope to even think to duplicate. So again, I appreciate you coming here. I appreciate you tuning into this and seeing and being an observer, but a learner, and being someone that actually cares about what's going on. Because this is the community, these kind of communities are the ones we need to share these messages out with people that are speaking truth into existence. And hopefully you are as well. Hopefully you're talking to friends and family. Hopefully you have a blog. Hopefully you have a YouTube channel doing the same things, because the truth has to overwhelm the darkness. So I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.